Peace. 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 Woo! Clap it up for yourselves. Clap it up. Whew. Let's first give an honor to Source. Give an honor to all this chapstick I put on because I know I get to talking. And yeah, I ain't gotta worry about licking my lips this time around. Give an honor to Source. Let's give an honor to ancestors that came before us, our ancestors known and unknown. Give honor to you. Clap it up for yourself. But yeah, most importantly, let's breathe. This is gonna be a great one. Inhale, stick your stomach out, because when we breathe, our lungs expand. Let's start off with some breath work. Okay, anywho. I ain't forgot these either. You know, got my magical glasses. You know, when I got these, it's gonna be a magical moment. In the words of, in honor of, Dick Gregory. What's dangerous is when the universe picks you and they give you the magical glasses. You can't take them off. You got to see things as they are, for what they are, not what they could be in a sense, but see things as it is. You can't tell, you can't convince people what you see, because what's given to you is given to you from the divine, from source. So, just remember that wherever you are on your path. So this topic has been knocking again. And this topic is really solely on being suffocated our whole lives. And I'm going to dive into this because there's other topics I want to speak about, but this one specifically, I want to come here and, again, wherever you are on your path, I know y'all gotta sometimes look, I get on here, this was the reason I feel like at a moment when I did begin my YouTube, and I can relate to this to a lot of what I'm gonna dive into, is that being from my own experience, not having, or at the moment growing up, trying to find a conscious or healthy outlet to be communicative. This was a gem on my journey to really express and be a channel from the divine, and more so also for myself and others who really just wanted to feel like we can feel safe again. And what I mean by that is that we've been suffocated our whole lives. And so just to now be able to speak and use a platform and just, again, express myself, there's videos that, it's just like talking to yourself, learning to talk to yourself again in a healthy way, in a healthy dialogue. And that's been one of my most challenging battles, is that inner dialogue of now trying to, reaffirm to myself that all is well, I am taken care of, I am safe, I am secure. And in that healing journey, that happens in layers to where, you feel you having the courage to come out of that dark, damp environment, within yourself, the darkest depths, that you've been hiding from not only yourself, but, revealing it to the world unapologetically, in which a lot of us through this process are recovering, because having been in a dark place, we all have our outlets or a way of expressing through, in a masculine aspect, that energy of expressing it or, acting it out, which we've all have done naturally, but have we really felt safe and secure? So this is why I speak about my own experiences, because again, we just never knew. Looking at the bigger picture, at a point in time, I thought that we can get consumed by thinking that our problems are bigger than the solutions, or not being able to see past our circumstances. So there was a point in my life that I thought there was nothing beyond being a victim, or being in the dark and consumed by, you know, all of what was projected onto me growing up. So a lot has been coming up lately in these moments where I felt like, okay, I should just go hide away, but I'm always given some type of something through interactions with others. And immediately, here I am. Because it's very vital that I had to relearn and reassess, unlearn the patterns of thinking that I have to keep everything to myself. And in reality, in being a vessel and being able to transmute, alchemize these things through emotion, through mental, through spiritual, all evolving, coming into the physical aspect of expression. So that was, it's a growing process. It's like trying to mother and father yourself, your own emotions, which a lot of us had to do. So the topic at hand is, we've all have been suffocated. And the reason why I use that word suffocated is like, imagine coming out the womb of your mother. I do want to get some tea, so let me actually get that, because I feel like my throat, because I'm going to get this out. Be right back with you guys. Perfect. Yeah, I'm not too fond of a lot of weather, so I make sure I get my tea. I got some, what is this, white onion? Is it? You're from the South, but I really don't care. Like, I be expressing my words so differently. I call it, is it Kanye pepper? I was like, not the artist, but Kanye, whatever. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I know it starts with a C. That pepper, onions, and lemon. So I do my best to just try to prepare for these moments, because it's like you can tell when there's something, how energy can show up in your body. It's something that's blocked. You can typically feel it in that area, like your throat. I've noticed my voice has changed. I've noticed, like, even sometimes when I get on here doing videos, like how different tones, or when I'm expressing something. But again, how those energy blocks can show up. I guess I'm getting on this subject too. In relation to being suffocated, is that feeling like we've been suffocated our whole lives, and now we're getting a chance to breathe. So I can express, like, from my own experience about where those blockages and how those blockages were formed, and now how I actually had to navigate and maneuver through those blockages. For one, here it is, we growing up, and when I mean use the term as in a metaphysical sense of like being suffocated, or in a physical sense, it's like being, here we are coming out of the wombs of our mothers, and immediately there's this being that we see, and here she is, or whomever your caretaker was, doing what they need to do. And imagine her being suffocated by people trying to direct her, tell her, well, this is what a mother should be. Well, you got to do this, grandma, and then this person trying to tell them, well, this. If you don't do this, then this is not right. It is like someone has been here in our journey, on our path, since we've been young, whether societally, dealing with schools, just anything in particular. You're talking about teachers, you're talking about environments, you're talking about all these things. And when I mean suffocate, that specifically can mean something. Ooh, that's already how I just drank this other water. Good Lord. So when I say the word suffocate, it's like you specifically can connect and relate to things that you feel have suffocated you, whether it be a caregiver, from you trying to live out your purpose or find your purpose. And so a lot of us haven't known what that is because we have been suffocated by society. The opinions of what a man and woman should be, or how we should, how this experience should be, how this human experience should be, and what that entails, and how that should be navigated. So it's like in the sense of, again, what people deemed or what they thought was valuable, it was forced and projected upon us in a suffocating way, not really allowing us to breathe. And suffocated can be in a sense of like, someone monitoring your every move. So you're not feeling the sense of like, like you can breathe. While I'm speaking about this, and it's like literally feels like something in my throat. This tea's so hot though. I'm gonna still drink it. I'm gonna get this out because I've been feeling this lately, because I feel like I've been having a lot of throat activations, or because there's so much of us that has to say a lot of things. And I will encourage all of you, even if you have to start small, with writing, with talking to yourself in the mirror, or talking to yourself in a sense to where you have the courage then to go out. But it's a process for everyone. It looks different. And so we all navigate the waters differently. Remember that. We all, even our kids, we all navigate this life differently. And we're all trying to find our way to shore. We're all trying to find, and that shoreline, in a sense, is a safety net, or I don't like net, not net, but a secure place. So, in a world that has, this, what you see being dismantled and falling apart, which is a great thing, because we've been in things so long to where we didn't ever assume that things could fall apart. And those tower moments, or those moments where it seems like everything is crumbling, is the divine or source trying to reveal to you to see the bigger picture on why this has to happen. So again, we had to feel that sense of, again, being suffocated our whole lives by being around others that, again, we've heard all these perceptions from others, all these projections of others' insecurities or their belief systems, or what we should do, how we should do it. And now trying to truly, when I say breathe again, it's like finally being in a headspace mentally, finally being in a secure place spiritually, emotionally, to think for ourselves, to breathe again. And how that has looked for me, it's like, it may not look the same for you. I've been reflecting on a lot of experiences, like a lot of things have been coming up in relation to like the relationships that I saw, and now realizing that it has its value, because I'm able to see the bigger picture. I'm able to transmute that pain, or transmute that trauma response. And instead of reacting, I'm able to respond and show up for myself. And then in showing up for myself, I'm able to show up for others. And that's a process that, again, that it doesn't have an identity. I had to express to my partners that everyone has this idea of you. You have to realize since you were younger, and I'm telling you, like, even from from like everyone you know in your life has this idea of you, has this narrative that either you fed them, or through your interaction they have this narrative, or sometimes they unconsciously don't even, being, let's say people have, due to their own beings, suffocated through the programming of what a person, by the way they look, or by the way they dress, or what they have materialistically, or whatever, um, by their, just things as such. Is like they've been suffocated as well, or projected on as well, and then had unconsciously taken on this narrative of, as soon as they see people as such, they automatically categorize or classify them as something that in reality they have given value to. But on the other, if you, in that other person's eyes, on the opposite spectrum of that, that person may not see the same thing that's valuable. They may see that as you're devaluing them by, because you classify them as such, or as this, as that. So we all, in a way, I can speak on my experience going back to childhood. Um, there was a memory of, like, seeing how I was, like, the humiliation where a lot of us were, let's say we go in a grocery store with our moms, or we go somewhere, we immediately are told, don't you go in here and touch nothing, you're not getting nothing. Or when you do something, that when you just simply expressing yourself, and immediately there's someone in your face, you don't do this. It's like suffocating. Like, me saying that being able to breathe is in a sense of expressing yourself unapologetically. Me speaking unapologetically. Me sharing my natural abilities to the world unapologetically, without it being shame, or without a sense of feeling like I got to be guilty for not being able to show up as myself. So that being in these environments, and like going in the grocery store, going somewhere, if you do anything, like just simply being a kid or just being innocent, it was shunned, or it was like immediately shut down in a way. So that's a that suffocation or suffocating feeling that somebody's immediately in your face about. And you're just trying to breathe. You're just trying to express. Because the first thing we do is breathe when we arrive here. The last thing we will do is breathe. So imagine, your life, that you only been trying to breathe. And in that breathing is that you only been trying to express yourself in the most innocent, unapologetic way. But most of us, a lot of us, due to our experiences, have been suffocated by those who we love the most, who have also been suffocated in their childhood, or who also have been shunned, or immediately suffocated through their childhood with the projections of what they should be. And in that, they never truly know what it was to breathe. They never truly would know what it was to, they were always, it's like walking on eggshells, not only in their home, but you're talking about environments that what we grew up in. It's like walking on eggshells when you go outside in a country where it can seem like, just because of the color of someone's skin, or just because of the way that you dress, just because, so many things that I can go on and on about, is that's a suffocating feeling. And then that's a suffocating feeling um to even feel safe. To even feel safe, to think that, like, okay, I can really be myself. But then when you're in environments or you're walking around and you're just seeing the looks, the stares, or the judgment, that's a suffocating feeling. That is still so hot. So again, a lot of us are learning to breathe again, to be in an environment where we don't feel judged by others, to be in environments where we're not criticized by just simply getting up and wanting to rest and not wanting to do anything. Where someone may call it lazy, but I may see it as, well, this is a self-care day for me. This is a day I just want to sit with my thoughts, sit with my emotions, see what comes up. This is a day that I just want to maybe create. Maybe I just want to lounge around. Maybe I want to do nothing. But in that doing nothing, it still has an effect on everything. Because in that nothingness is everything. See, humanity, or a lot of people haven't known what it is to sit with any of their shit, their emotions. Because they've been suffocated by either caregivers, um, they're being suffocated by, we can use, the kids in a sense, but it's not that they're doing it purposefully, but it's like our mothers, especially, haven't had a room to breathe, to really let their hair down, to really have an environment or environments where they are not monitored or suffocated by external beliefs of others, external dialogues, external criticism, all these things that, due to what we all have been consumed by or allow ourselves to be consumed by, has affected us to where no one really feels that they can breathe. Because it's like, if I breathe the wrong way, if I breathe, someone's going to say this. If I say this, then, oh my God, it's sensitive. You see how I'm using how, like, breathe in a sense is connected to everything, however that looks in your life. And then the opposition to that is like the being suffocated. If you don't go to school, if you don't do this, then, and we don't even realize this is the programming, what we have learned since we got here. This is what spiritual warfare is. We've listened to everyone else but ourselves. That's why I heard this brother was saying, he said, you got a lot of people, and you see this a lot in the melanated communities a lot. It's like, that saying goes that actions speak louder than words. But a lot of us have been so fucking traumatically projected on, like, verbally. Like, it's so disgusting that we don't know what it is to really, a lot of people don't know what it is to see actions speak louder than words. It's the opposite of that. They think that words speak louder than actions. So that is in a sense of like how they've been affected so long by, they're easily swayed by someone say, hey, do this, and they immediately do it. And a lot of that has been so much programming through our mothers, due to their own woundings and fear of what has happened to their sons and daughters, but especially their sons. Having seen them being slain, having seen, just in numerous of ways how not only she has been devalued, but, the men and sons have been devalued. So a lot of that fear or that woundedness is, they've been suffocated for so long by others' perceptions of what it is to be a woman and how to show up. And so them not ever feeling a sense to breathe, it's like they've been holding their breath for so long, or they've been holding it in. They've been holding it in so long that it comes out and explodes. And then her words, and then what she said and how she's saying it is affecting every little being around her, every little person around her, the whole environment. I was telling my partner where I grew up. There we go. Ooh, I put a lot of pepper in there, but that's good. Me. But I was telling my partner how there's an area, and shout out to the beautiful people there. It's called they call it the Bricks. Shout out to the Bricks, but they call it Icemore Lee. And this environment is where I grew up, and I was just expressing to her like how um what's that? I don't know why this verse just popped up in my head. I don't know the chapter by out the head, but I know it's like to whom much is given, much is required. And I feel like that applies to everyone because whether you're a mother, father, wherever you are, and this is why I don't judge people for what they have. And I cannot throw the stone and say what I would do because I'm not in their shoes. You know, whatever your status, because I had this vision recently, and it relates to that scripture. It's like to whom much is given, much is required. Because we don't really know what we'll do in the position of other people. Because again, to whom much is given, much is required. And this is where you see the abuse of power that has happened spiritually and now being apprehended, or the justice is coming in the spiritual realms as well as the physical. And this relates to, a lot of us have been given because you are not a burden. A lot of us have been given kids or given certain things, whether it be in the spiritual aspect, spiritual gifts, and material aspect. And we have that, some may call it free will, or we have agreed to um, balance those things or in a way to where, because I'm not going to say all beings or all people are going to do the same thing because there would be no balance. But um, to whom much is given, I mean, like we've been giving these platforms, we've been given these gifts, whether it's speaking, you've been given certain things, and what is required from you, only you know, or you learn that process. And that's how the healing journey unfolds for a lot of people. But getting back to the topic on how the people that I know that in these specific areas that I grew up in, I was expressing to my partner, I said, think about the mothers that are in these huge, I call it like a house, because when you look at apartments, it's a big ass house with rooms. And you literally beside someone. That's the same thing as a hotel. That's what they call a multi-home. If those of you that know real estate or into brokerage, that's what they call a multi-home, apartment. It's literally a part, but literally it's one big building, one big house, and you got all these different personalities. You got all these different energies. You got all these things. That was purposely orchestrated. That's why it's being dismantled. Because at a point in time, you had, our ancestors, people were in certain environments where everyone wasn't huddled in one little spot. Everyone lived amongst each other in peace and harmony, and then things change. But where I'm getting at is that look at how a lot of these mothers in these areas and these families and stuff that are relying on this external hand or these people to show up for them, and it's like the things that, again, the suffocating feeling around not being able to see beyond that, not being able to really because of what they've been holding and not being able to say. Here they are in these buildings or these environments where they have so much emotions built up. They've been holding in so much to where there's not many of people around you that you can trust. So you got these people in environments where, even though they never talk about it, that doesn't mean that they don't feel and that they're not important, that their emotions does not matter. So you have these mothers all around in the Americas or wherever in these environments where not only they don't see, what is that saying? They don't see the something beyond the trees. I forgot what that quote was. But it's like basically seeing beyond where they at. And so they're assuming that this is their all and be all. And you don't have people going in those communities and asking them, hey, how are you? No, it's a suffocating feeling or monitoring feeling in these, which I call hoods or whatever, which are some of the most intelligent, advanced, beautiful beings in the world. It's not to discredit anyone else, but from my experience, I was telling her, like, these people have so much to fucking say about people, but they don't know nothing about them. Like being there face to face in the communities with the youth and really feeling from an impact of like an intuitive perspective. They don't have to say a word, but just seeing what they feel, how they feel, and you wanting to do so much to change or create some type of change. And in trying to do that, you gotta be there for yourself. You gotta heal yourself. Because again, the suffocating feeling so much is that we all have been affected by that. I mean, you got these kids and these mothers and these environments so much that people say they care about the community. It's not about what you're giving them. It's not nothing about what you're just giving them. Okay, are you listening? Because giving ain't just finances. Giving ain't just money. Giving isn't just giving them a roof or food. Are you giving them an ear to listen? And then even in listening, none of these corporation or whatever it is have really been an active listener. So you're talking about a lot of these people have been suffocated and monitored by these same people or corporations who simply want to prey on all their childhood woundings. Because do you truthfully support them in what they're wanting to do? Can you really say you go into these communities and really say, asking these mothers, well, what do you want to do with your life? Okay. And even if you try to help aid them in that and see it, are you really active listening to their needs and wants? Because a lot of us never knew what that was. We never had that addressed to us. We never were asked to us. That suffocating feeling. Because we were projected on. We were really never asked what are our, what do we need or what we want. It was just forcefully given to us. Because here we are having caregivers, not to blame them in any way, but it was due to their forceful nature of what they were given, because everybody's environment is not the same. Because we have our talks and our childhood upbringings are completely different, but there's still some type of silver lining or somewhere where we can meet to really see the traumas and really see the connection in how we connected, and then how we can create the change within ourselves and for other people. It's not about trying to change them. It's about the accountability. Again, where are the active listeners in the community? These mothers who have been harboring so much pain from the fucking fucked up hospitals, the suffocating them when they go in there and, knowing that they're not supposed to have children on their back, but due to the programming and assuming that this is a natural way, inducing them with narcotics, with fentanyl, that aspect of like how when you're talking about epidural, however you say it, me studying these things, like y'all don't realize, like, as you research this, when I be talking about exploitation and exposing things, this all connects to being suffocated. Our mothers being suffocated by these systems and by these corporations that are now failing. And now that's why I encourage them to speak their truth, to speak up. And a lot of them are in fear for that. A lot of mothers and people fear for their lives. I'm gonna be very, this is why I told my partner, I said, I've seen, if y'all want to classify it as death, I like to say, we all transition and leave. But I've seen it so much. I've experienced it so much in a sense of like near death, or, just seeing the beyond this, to where some of us are here knowing that we're divinely guided and purposely given this message to expose and bring awareness. It's not to convince people, it's to bring awareness around the woundedness and how we all have been affected, how we all have been suffocated by this old narrative, this old matrix aspect, to see the dismantling and all of that. Again, to see how, most importantly, our mothers, the matriarchal aspect that has tried to be brushed up under the rug and forgotten, but she has always, the mother has always played a vital role in all of this. So it's bringing awareness to, it's not about pointing at her to say she's, the forcing her like, oh, this is, you did this and you did. It's the accountability, encouraging our women the accountability on your role. And then to see, when you see your role and accept your accountability, then our sons, which grows into the fathers, will be able to acknowledge their roles, such as myself, such as, me knowing that I was suffocated young. I was projected on young. I was given this false narrative of what a mother should be. But here are mothers that were given this false narrative, and they were given the tools and suffocated by society and devalued in so many ways, to where how could they fucking feel that they are valued in the world? How could they have any way within have the courage to really step out there and speak their truth without the fear of someone trying to harm them, without fear of someone betraying them, those that are near and dear to them? They've been going through so much. And that's why this stuff cannot be hidden, because again, mama being the teacher, mama has taught to dysfunction. Mama has taught these things, so we're all accountable in a way, because mama taught the sons, and the sons taught the daughters, and the cycle continues through the fathers and the mothers. So again, we've all have been suffocated by what other feels we should do and how we should do it. I'm telling you, as much as I get on here, and it's not about forcing people to see my narrative, it's whether it's triggering, whether it forces you to see something within yourself, whatever it is, it all serves its purpose. That's why I don't become attached to it. But I am very much aware, again, in these community spaces, whatever y'all want to call it, there has not been an active listener, because whoever been pulling the strings on the puppet, and whoever been all these other things that we do not see, their hands are being shown. So this is why I love how, oh yeah, Spirit wants me to speak about this, is like, whether a lot of men like this or not, there are women that are going to be elected and are anointed to step into their priesthood, into their high priestess energy. Those of you that know that you are being led to step into your power, and there are going to be men who honor that. There are going to be men who will divinely guide you and protect you, spirit, physical. I say, as to you were warriors for us, now a lot of us are preparing to be warriors for you. That's I couldn't put into words how much our women have fucking sacrificed on the front line. So I respect and honor, even through the dysfunctionality. To see the devalue, I had to see what I had to value now. How could there be any change if we don't see the fact of where the problem was, and then find or seek the solution? Because the solution, a lot of our mothers have thought that the solution, and being, again, suffocated so long, we thought the solution was through the caregivers. We thought the solution was through money. We thought the solution was through all these external things. And in reality, I like to use the term, when you look at soul, I like to call it solution, because if you remove a certain letter, it looks like soul. Because the greatest knowledge, I heard an elder say, the greatest knowledge on earth is for anyone that can find a solution to their problems. And that can be from the smallest of things. It's just like, again, for me being feeling that being suffocated so long, shunned, and wanted to be silenced. I give you a memory. I told my partner, I said, I remember being in a home environment where my mom had, again, the abusive boyfriend. And, there's that saying like, oh, don't talk back or don't mumble up under your breath. And it would piss them off. It would literally put them in an uproar because I wanted to just, for so long, I've been holding this shit in. A lot of us been holding shit in for 30, 40, 50 years. And then a lot of people feared it because, from being in childhood, it's like they've been shunned so much or they've been threatened. Like, it's literally, if I were to talk back or say something, I would immediately get an ass whooping. I would immediately be slapped. I would immediately, it's like tortured in a way, just for speaking up. And I've seen it happen in previous family dynamics. I was like, man, it's no way. And that's why I knew I was led to speak up and speak for myself, but in the bigger picture, speak up for those who never felt they had a voice. You do have a voice. Fuck what them people say. That power that you're looking for is within you. If you were giving a voice to speak, you have a voice to speak. If you were giving eyes to see, then you were giving eyes to see. What you seen and what you saw was what it was. Whether that means spiritual or physical. You were given these limbs, you were given that vessel to be the best version and to be the best in everything that you can be. I know that's challenging because a lot of us have seen people for so long not live in alignment or not live and do what they love. And we have soaked this in so much like a sponge in childhood, and we glorified and saw these people in a God complex, they suffocated us with so much projections of, well, you should be this, you should be this. And I'm telling you, it gets so deep. It's like you can have family or people, a whole different person who grew up, their parents had this money, their parents had all this and that. And that relates to this vision I had where it's like there was a woman that, some may say she was poor in poverty. Then there was this other woman that was high up. She had all these things, money or whatever. She was living like what most would want and desire. But what she was missing was value. And I mean value in self-esteem, confidence. But she dressed it up. And she was asking, and I don't know how, it's like in the vision, it's like she was asking like, well, what is it about me that people don't like that they love in her in a sense? And the reality is that what people don't realize, it's a spiritual thing. It's this, just because this person on the street, you will just assume that they can have spiritual ranking as well. They can be placed right on your path just to see how you respond to them asking for something or them wanting your help. Yes, some may call them angels, some may call them whatever it is, but they can be disguised as sent right from the divine or placed right on your path. It's happened to me plenty of times before. I've gotten acknowledged by those people who were quick to aid me in something in those environments, and someone who has all these things, and due to their pride, and it's not all people, but due to their pride and due to their own envious and spirits and whatever they're fighting internally, they know that it's something within you that they don't want to help. They know it's something within you. A lot of people know that you are going to do great things and great wonders in this world. I mean, people in certain books that have done it. So you too can do these things. You too are already doing it. By overcoming your circumstances, you too are already doing great wonders. That's what makes you so magical. You too, we all are doing it right now. Ooh, When you have the courage to step out of your comfort zone and go into the world, the free world, if you want to, you go into an environment that's unfamiliar, people that don't look like you or do the things that you do, that is miraculous. That is courageous. That is amazing to take up what you already have and continue to carry your own cross per se, to carry your own whatever it is you're going through, and no longer you left everyone else with their burdens, the things that they have to go through karmically, to carry your own and to move through and to keep moving. So, that vision, I was telling her in the vision, it was like I expressed it how it's like, it's not about nothing that what you have. It's that the divine wants you to see that it's value in all of us. There's value in the person that may not want to live the way you live. There's value still in that person that may live in a trailer home. They're satisfied. They're just as joyous as someone who has a mansion. There's value in someone who may live and may have an apartment, 1 bedroom, and have a fucking blow up bed, or may have oodles and noodles, or may have whatever it is that's keeping them self sufficient. That's not their all be all, but they have come to, just for and this is what a lot of, again, having that inner peace, is that a lot of us have been suffocated so long. And this is why I've noticed how myself and others that I know that have moved away, and you're going to see this in this Aquarian age, or you're going to see people really coming to their own, wanting to build and create environments simply just by wanting to be at peace and feel safe again, wanting to just breathe again, attract others as such, their own kind. Shout out to, I don't like to give names, but shout out to Charleston. You know, I just give people their flowers now, but and I don't care how other people feel about him. I am one to learn from a lot, not just kids, but when someone's dropping some knowledge or is dropping some gems, I'm listening. But I just remember watching this interview with him, Charleston White, and he said, you know, just certain things, how he don't care about certain things, which, that's his opinion, that's his perception. But when he said, what did he say? There's a lot of species of birds. He said, but you notice that the red bird and blue bird don't fly together. He said he's looking for his kind. And I can respect that in the sense of, like, I saw or can relate to that. And it's like what we call soul tribe, or what we call those who are in alignment with what we're creating. And there are others like you. Whether you want to call it weird, some might call it strange, some may call it whatever it is. That's not for you. Those who criticize and want to attack you for that, they're not for you. They don't have to be. You don't have to accept that. And that's what I feel we have been suffocated by so much. We have just believed and accept this narrative of others so much that we have written this dialogue or taken on this dialogue unconsciously, that we have to be accepting of just the bullshit and the and tolerate. That's what I'll use. And tolerate what has been going on. And now when we breathing again, we're learning to appreciate what we experience and accepting that. But when you set boundaries, that means you will no longer tolerate the things that have disrupted your peace or try to come in, energies, entities, or people who are battling with things that, again, that is that by you distancing yourself or by you moving forward, you no longer have to be suffocated by their projections. And so in seeking yourself and seeking what you appreciate, what you wanted to feel celebrated and honored, and feel like a luxury, and feel like you're valued in every way, and you valuing those versions of yourself that others may have projected on and try to say that, well, you this, but which again, the bigger picture is now realizing that you can breathe around those who receive you unapologetically, who celebrate you, who celebrate how far you've come. Because you can look at and reflect back to each other and realize, like, I don't have to judge you for what you went through. I'm actually inspired by what you've experienced. And that's how you will see what your kind or who are in alignment with you, is that you will be able to realize that you don't have to be suffocated by others' opinions, by societal opinions. I don't care who you are, whether you, and I know some of you watch this, I don't care what people have said, because I've seen it in the visions. You will have people that, and this is why I had to learn and learn that the divine wanted me. In that vision, I saw this woman. I believe she probably was what they call, quote unquote, like a celebrity. And this person that are here. And y'all don't realize when it says the last shall be first, that's in correlation or relating to the fact that even though these people that are here, whether y'all want to call it the top of the pyramid, there's no comparison. There is no, they can, as much as they want to separate themselves, the illusion separated, the oneness of all shows us that I'm sure if you can see anybody in front of me, whomever it is, there's something we can fucking relate to. Something spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically. Because everybody got some type of, and it's not to downplay people that drink, but somebody got a drunk in their family. Somebody got someone that's on drugs or whatever it is, or someone got someone who tells all these stories, like, oh man, I met such and such when I was at the club. Just something that we can laugh about. Because deep down within us all, again, like I said, I know celebrities watch. They watching y'all. You got to realize, like, you'd be surprised how many people are admired or inspired by your authenticity. Because you can't pull the wool over people's eyes. It's like, imagine how suffocated they have felt. Like I said, I'm not gonna. Some moments I'll be like, I don't give a f what they doing, because really I can only be present and see what I'm doing. But what the old narrative and the old matrix system and all that had people believe in this illusion of certain people or certain things that we were energetically giving our power to outside of us, and being in a dark place will have one believing that let's look up to someone. And in reality, shit, let's look in. How about that? Let's look into ourselves. Let's get into ourselves and really know who we are. And that's what's happening. Is that because we've been looking outside so much for something, for in whether it be religion or people celebrating celebrity. Like I told my partner, I said, these mothers that's out here, even whether they're going through dysfunction or living in it or whatever they're doing, shit, they're more superheroes in my eyes than anybody y'all can say out here. Because see, what they won't tell you is that whether these people are here trying to keep the spells and prey on these people and keep these illusions going. Let me tell you something. The women that y'all think that's at the bottom, these mothers that's in these hoods or ghettos, whatever it is, man, let me tell you, they some of the rawest, authentic. I don't care where they at. I fucking love them. I'm talking about the ones that, again, I don't care what culture and creed, but especially ones that I know that, man, at least I can say they've been raw and authentic in a way to themselves. But yes, like some of our mothers had to lie their way or, do certain things to keep food on the table. Some of them had to do certain things. Again, it may not be glorified by everybody else, but let me tell you something. These same corrupted systems, see, that's the bullshit. They had to use these same women to keep their illusions going, to keep the dysfunction. And when it fall apart, see, you needed them, those same mothers that you preyed on and devalued the most. You needed them and their sons and their daughters the most, just as myself. You needed them for their wounded state, to prey on their wounds just as much as you wanted to as much as people wanted to, um, um, what's the word I'm looking for? Like wanted them to non-exist. And how you gonna get rid of something that's original? So that's the last being made first. Like I said in that vision, that woman was looking to see why she couldn't be honored and respected or seen. But the thing is, she couldn't see herself. She hasn't accepted those versions of herself. No matter how much you dress it up and try to make it real and try to make it look a certain way, that's something in the depths of your soul that once you break free, you're no longer being suffocated by all these other people. You're able to breathe again. You're able to come right back into the innocence. Because those spells and those illusions have been broken of trying to prey on our mother's childhood woundings and keeping them in an environment in a stagnant place. And those you have had their hands in there. Like I said, everyone has went through something. Like I said, we can easily say something about these people, whether y'all want to call it celebrities, and a lot of y'all do that simply because there's something inwardly that you haven't accessed it. So you see these material things, or you see the light that they're experiencing, and due to the programming and due to the things that what people are, what they think has value or assume that has value, and not seeing the value within themselves, they have put these things and glamorize it in front of your eyes because they know we eat with our eyes, and what we hear and what we, all those things, all those senses, or all those things is some type of consciousness or awareness to keep either yourself ascending or descending, or in a place of de-evolution in a way. And so now that the frequencies and all this stuff is rising, I encourage our women that shit that's harbored up, speak it. Either speak it, write it, whatever it is, talk to somebody about it. Whether you got to start with yourself first. Because they're going to classify you as this and that. Shit, they have already classified you all crazy. They've already classified you everything but a child of the Most High. The child of the Divine Mother and Father. They've already classified you. They've already said you're everything. And the reason being because they have studied you for so long. They studied the greatness within y'all ass. Mothers especially. You know who I'm talking to. They've studied everything, evaluated the labs, the hospitals, all that shit. They've studied you. See, that's the spell that's being broke. They have studied you for so long. Studied you for so long. And they still can't come up with a fucking conclusion to get rid of you. To see why it is and who you are. To see how are y'all surviving or have survived thus far. Because I'm going to give you a little secret. Because they can't get rid of what is original. What is the organs? It's like with Mother Gaia, our mothers, y'all represent the organs, the heart. Y'all are the heart of, if you want to call it, the earth's plane. That's why a lot of y'all gifts are coming online. Your love. See, you had to see the dysfunctionality. You had to be suffocated for so long now to breathe again. But your love, even through whatever the fuck you did, I love y'all, man. Like, I'm telling, there's no a mother's love, the divine mother's love, and the divine mother has saw. What y'all call the father, yeah, there is a mother. There is a mother that has returned. See, that's what's been pushed away. I told you that dark Madonna. See, that's right. That right here is what they don't want you to realize. That dark Madonna right there, you notice how it looks like a womb? That right there? Yeah. And that's the sun with her? Yeah. We here now. But that's the thing that, again, see, they always knew that our mothers were the foundation to all of this. They knew when once our mothers start taking accountability, because at a point in time, our mothers were in this harmonious and peaceful in bliss. You know, something came in. I'm going way down there, but now that we're returning to this, there are others. We want to see you heal. I want to see you heal, baby. To the mothers, I would love. And guess what? It may not be so pretty at first, but I would love to see you cry. It's okay to cry. It's okay to. I know you've been suffocated your whole life. Because I'm a son that knows the feeling of my mama being suffocated, my grandmother being suffocated by, and I'm not just talking about bills. I'm not just talking about governments and all of those stuff. I know the feeling of you being suffocated by the spiritual warfare, by the things that you don't utter with your mouth because you feel that people will never understand and comprehend. I know you've been suffocated, but I see you. Because as a son, that I know that again, the matriarchal or the feminine aspect that connects me to you, the feminine energy aspect, I understand, mamas. And Big Mama is here. Big Mama is using us. So just know that I know the feeling of you being suffocated from a spiritual sense, from an emotional, mental, trying to make sense, trying to simply get through the day. I honor and respect y'all because I'm telling you, even though I went through my own, played my role in the dysfunction, I also can play my role in the functioning and creating that balance and that harmony. And I always express to y'all, if that man is not knowing what, let him go. If he's not knowing what it is. And this too, like this goes for your sons too. A lot of you have been harboring and holding your sons due to your own emotional woundings and attachment to them. But they too will grow into a father, a mentor, something that they have they too as a soul have to go through their own karma here. Because in that, you must realize that in your learning to function again and honor your emotions and to breathe, you'll do more healing, bringing healing to you, which trickles down to the patriarchal, which is the son, the fathers and grandfathers. You'll do more healing than harming by simply trying to just harbor them. No longer I bind and rebuke and dispel that spirit of smothering our sons. We no longer have to smother our sons. Because when that happens, you may go through a grieving state. Yes, you feel what you need to feel, but you do not have to smother. You'll do more protecting him in the spirit than you will do more harming him in the physical. Because when you try to hold on, then that'll allow your healing to happen. If some of you do have a son and or daughter, or have both, or just have a son, or even if it's just you, how this will look is a lot of you mothers, when you really start to return inwardly, you really start to heal and love yourself and purge all these things, you will have things that are repressed from your mothers, so forth, ancestrally, generationally, that has been passed through you. And in that acknowledgement, you will see things, it can be like dark, but you will also see the light at the end of the tunnel because you are the light at the end of the tunnel. And how that would affect you is that, again, you have to see how and it's not the same for all of y'all, but it will be made very apparent how your role, when you see your role in the dysfunction and you choose to change that, you will see how much healing and being more focused on yourself, you will see the healing that will bring you and the generations after you. See, your sons and your daughters, they are sent and given to you for you to help you clear things karmically. They are not a burden. They were not given to you for them to feel like they're a burden. The only reason why you feel that guilt and shame and burdensome is because that is something generationally you have maybe felt that in your childhood. And that was never, and you never had that outlet. You never had a healthy outlet to express that. And so you're hurting first. You're hurting, and that's okay. But your from your hurting gives birth to your that aggression and that anger. I've seen it a lot. And I'm just speaking to specifically some people, but I'm speaking that because you haven't had a safe place to cry. You haven't had that because a lot of that may, you know, you've been taught so much to keep it in, to suppress it so much through your work environments. But I'm telling you, a lot of you, and I see this happening. Once a lot of you stop doing this repetitive thing, and I know it scares you the most because you don't know, well, how you gonna say this? How we gonna get food on the table? How we gonna have shut? How we gonna do this? Let me tell you something. When I say the divine, is something coming down the pipeline right now. It's already here. And this is what the powers that used to be know. Because once your energy and once y'all start focusing on restoring, and you're being restored emotionally, mentally, physically right now. It just takes some of us to now move forward because sometimes it only takes one. And you don't realize that one can affect millions and billions and so forth. So for a lot of you that, whether you have a son, I'll start with, whether you have or you are a single mother, the help is on its way. The divine is going to step in. And this is what's being restored right now. A lot of homes are going to be restored. You got to realize in these environments that what is the divine trying to show you as a mother that you need to see that that your mother has been running from and your grandmother. What is source trying to get you to see? Y'all may call it God or whatever. But what is it that you need to see within yourself or your environment that you know that you can change? Because it starts with you. It starts with our mothers, the matriarchal. Then it trickles down to us as the patriarchal. So again, what is it? What are you harboring? Who you need to write a letter to? Sometimes you don't have to physically show up. Who you need to write a letter to, whether it's your father, your mother, someone at a distance, who you need to write a letter to. And then you just let that be. You got it out, you wrote it, you mailed it, and you just let it be. Whether you're looking for a response or not. What is it that you're harboring that's been ailing inside of you, that's been eating away inside of you that you know you need to let go? Because those kids don't deserve that pain that you're feeling. They don't deserve that any longer that you're trying to project onto them. They don't deserve that frustration. Because I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. They will resent you for that. And you're speaking from someone who it will create resentment. Let me say that. Because they're going to come to awareness where your kids will always figure you out. And a lot of these little souls right now, these kids, they are way beyond their years, and you know that. You have a responsibility not only to yourself, but you have a responsibility to them too. Because in healing and seeing your value, it's a process. You will come, it's a process. I'm not saying it's going to be overnight, months, a year. It's different for everyone. But you'll be able, again, the divine will show you. Because a lot of y'all blockages in your heart and what you've experienced with your mothers and your father is keeping you in a stagnant place from really seeing your blisses, for really seeing and being in a peaceful and accepting love again. Because what y'all calling love ain't fucking love at all. And you know it's dysfunctional. But your fear of leaving is rooted in your woundedness of what you saw and what you have been in for so long, so many years. I don't care what marriage, I don't care what you in. You have been in something so long. And in your being affected by that, it has also had an effect on those kids, whether you know it or not. And some of you are unconscious of it. And some of you are consciously knowing that. Because it's the fear of, where is this going to happen? How are we going to have shelter? You are not the only one. Because in this, other mothers and their fathers, those that are like you, that have experienced that, some of the most greatest things they had to do was walk away. And in that, you're not only, I don't like to use the term saving your soul, but you're actually helping not only your soul, but others. That healing reconnects you to your inner child, your inner essence, but it also will help those other kids. See, I had to tell you, I told my partner, I said, the divine mother is a mother to all creeds and cultures. Let me make that very fucking clear. The divine mother is it sees all. She connects on a soul plane. What connects us all through our own karmic lessons here, as well as the divine father, because he honors the mother. Like I said, it's not about being perfect and trying to get it right. But those of you that have a son, ask yourself, are you continuing the dysfunctionality, but in your wounded state? Then if you have a mother or if you have multiple children, like a son and a mother, a son and a daughter. I tell my partner this, I said, in that little girl that you have, she has all of her eggs. She is not just a little girl. Spiritually, she is a mother, a grandmother, and so forth. I'm trying to get you to see the depths of this shit. In her belly, like your son, he holds seeds in his sperm. And I'm telling y'all from a spiritual sense, the significance I'm telling you is that what they're seeing and receiving and hearing is that someday when they grow into, and whether they are called to have kids or not, they will reenact your actions, because no matter how you see it, no matter how much you're angered and whatever it is, they're looking to you as caregivers and guardians for the protection, admiration, security, balance, harmony. So mothers, and you healing your relationship with your sons or acknowledging and trying to get through that the best way you know how, apologize to yourself for letting stuff go on so long. We quick to apologize and give it to everyone else. What about you? Apologize to your inner child. The person, stop neglecting you. And this is it. This is the real one right here. Why we no longer stop. How could I say this? The more you keep thinking that you got to show up, and I said this on the other videos, that your relationship with yourself is just as vital as your kids. Because in neglecting yourself and showing up, because again, this was a programming. Our mothers have been in this for so long, and fathers, especially our mothers. They've been showing up for everybody else, and you've been neglecting your own emotional state, your mental, your spiritual, and that trickles down to your physical well-being, and it has affected your health. And so in that's why a lot of you, what you call the emergencies, divine see as an awakening or awareness to, hey, what about you? What about your emotional state? What about your well-being? That's been one of the challenges I had to express to my partner. I said, y'all gotta somehow in there's a window of opportunity to do something. I don't care, do it. So you can get some type of clarity. And of course, you talking about being in patterns so long, your kids are not going to like it. They're gonna show their emotions. They're gonna do this, but you're gonna see the balance eventually. How that has not that opportunity, that window is helping you and everyone else. Because no matter how many that might not like it, because they're gonna naturally have this emotional. Naturally, kids are gonna they depend on mama in a certain age for their emotional support. Men is more logical and disciplined in a way. But naturally, like the first some odd years, your kids are dependent on you for their emotional support. And I'm speaking from experience. This is how I became so in tune with myself, is because I was dependent on my mother for that emotional support, for that, emotional security. But then I realized the dysfunction in that she never had emotional security. She never had someone actively listen to her problems, or what she was going through internally. So to counter that, she projected that I was the scapegoat. See, it's no difference than you mothers. You're using your sons as scapegoats and or daughters. And sometimes it normally shows up, if it's a mother and son dynamic, they use their son as a scapegoat, and it's like this this wounded relationship thing, and it's like in an intimate dysfunctional setting, not letting them want to grow, not seeing past, jealous of their partners, not wanting them, and sometimes and unconsciously we don't even we're not even aware of this because we were showing so much, we have been shown so much dysfunction, we don't even know this. And it happens the same thing with fathers too. I've seen it, trust me. People are unconsciously, or it's like incessantly, if that's a word, like in partnerships, or emotionally so connected through their woundings, due to their own woundings with their mothers or whatever maternal connection that they had, that they've taken on narrative. They're incessantly mentally, emotionally in like relationships with their daughters. And see, that's why I'm telling y'all this, how it was so important for me to heal, because I would have done something in a sense to where it would have been like seeing like I gotta, and how that shows up, like I gotta protect my daughter, go above and beyond, in a sense of like being overly protective. That's how it looks. It becomes overly protective, or it becomes overly excessive in a way to where we think that we're protecting them, and really we're not even allowing them to really be and blossom and come into their own. So this is what the dysfunction has been through a lot of what I say in the melanated communities, and it happens worldwide because it shows up for everyone. But this is what my experience have been and what I experienced. When you see these sons that are overly sensitive, it's because of the father not being there, and because a lot of them not having that balance with a masculine figure or a man, because we all have these energies. But even when you still can have these environments, whether they're there or not, and still not have emotionally available people, still have violent backgrounds. It's numerous of things I can go into detail. But again, it's that due to our mothers being, and all of us being suffocated, you're suffocating your sons, you're smothering them. And then you forget about the daughter. See, in healing yourself and healing that dynamic with the mother and son, you're also healing the dynamic with the spiritually your father. Even though he may not be present, or even if he is, somewhere in there in the generational ancestral aspect, your dynamic with your son, because he will too be a father. Your healing with you is also not just healing matriarchally. Your healing is patriarchally as well. Because whatever you're acting out through your masculine aspect, masculine is action. If you don't see or acknowledge your woundedness, whatever your wounding has been with both matriarchal and patriarchal, it will too reflect back with your mother, with your son and daughter. See, your wounding with your mother is also the relationship with your daughter. Some mothers quick to push the daughter out, or even sometimes want them to be their best friends, or want them to be so much like them. I'm telling you, I've seen it. When these mothers are trying to, they don't even unconsciously realize and see the mental illness, like they're trying to make their daughters work, do the same thing that they do. Oh, girl, you a boss. You got to do that. And it looks different for everyone. And it's like you ain't even giving that child to what they were assigned to do here. Their purpose is not what you're doing. Y'all been trying to play a God complex in their lives. And you don't even realize you're bullying them unconsciously, because you've been bullied in your childhood. Your mom and dad try to tell you, well, you don't do this, you'll be a failure, So you're unconsciously or consciously knowing that you're continuing this whole cycle of dysfunction. And then you realize that why this generational curse breaker, or why this certain, why they're so rebellious against you. Because they're here to rebel. And in their rebellion, they're here to create chaos, which is change. They're here to create change. That's what these youth are here to do. Because nothing what they're doing, just like what I'm doing right now, is supposed to look like the generation that came before me at all. So what they're doing, I'm not even going to tell them, like, if anything I share with them is like, hey, I love you, I appreciate you. Give them something they never received before. Because when I see a lot, that's why I don't even like to be talking to a lot of these adults, because their emotional disconnect, which has led them to, again, seeing how so much of the running from their own internal battle, they have, they'll come and immediately attack someone who's simply trying to get them to see the accountability within self. So, then y'all wonder why people want to step back, whether you want to call them healers, practitioners, whatever it is, or people that are here to restore balance, while we step back and be more focused on the youth, because they're more vulnerable. They're still developing their emotions. They're still learning. And most of them, through their 1 to 3 age and in their first 7 years, they're still developing their emotions, their mental. They already know what they came here to do, in a sense, but they're not exempt, just like we wasn't exempt from, developing these things, that processing it. And then that's the thing, we develop, and then now we're processing, still trying to unlearn and process the fact of, wow, we went through these betrayals, wow, all of which we learned we were being lied to. And now trying to build what I'm showing y'all and telling y'all is like, now you have a choice to build a foundation upon truth. So how do you do that? The old, which you built it on, whatever these corporations or foundations, it has to be dismantled. It has to be a shaken up in order for you now to create a foundation upon truth. You've been lied to, so why would you continue to lie to your kids and then blame them because you chose dysfunctionality, or you chose a lie, or you chose, like, come on now. You chose that. So somebody got to be the one to change it. And so that means, like, it's, again, we've been suffocated by lies. We've been suffocated by dishonesty, whatever you want to call it. We've been suffocated by things, again, that has kept us out of alignment and what real value is. The wool was poured over our eyes. Bravo. Kudos to the powers that used to be. But when we're restoring balance and we're being, restored within ourselves, we can now be honest with ourselves and say, you know what? I fucked up. I can acknowledge my role and say, you know what? I did that. Or, instead of, oh, such and such did it, but what was your role? See, sometimes it'll show up and be like, you know what? I know I stayed there too long. Or you know what? I know, I didn't have to do that, but you know what? It's becoming better. It's a lesson in it, in choosing. Because in choosing that to be honest and authentic, what people fear the most is that they don't know what comes after that. That's the fear of the unknown. They don't know, like, they're not willing to build a new foundation, or they fear, like, and again, it looks different. Everyone, people have been through so much pain, they don't see past it. But a lot of which, again, some people don't even know that they've been a part of stuff like that these corporations or these environments, they know that they've had their hand in it, and they know they have been a part of it, and they knew eventually, whether they wanted to accept it or not, that these moments were going to come, where something new was going to be reestablished. The truth doesn't care about your emotions or feelings. It's just what it is. So again, you no longer have to be suffocated by others' opinions or whomever it is. You got this. We're going to get through this. This too shall pass. Ashe. Peace and blessing. Shalom.